Chuck's become quite a star. I mean, everyone loves Chuck. Everyone wants to be with Chuck. And he has kind of grown into a much more mature, confident person. It's kind of like watching a young actor. The first few times we were on set with him, it was incredibly skittish. He didn't really know what was going on. We had to keep everything very quiet. No food on the set. We had to put up screens to block him from the crew to sort of keep him focused. Now when he walks on set, he's ready to work. You know, he shows up ready. He actually likes it. He looks forward to it. I think this movie is about survival. It's about coming of age. I think it's about identifying who you are and where you fit in the world. It's also a story about the first bond between man and dog at its core. At the end of this movie, it's about a young boy and a dog who have come together in extreme circumstances, and they form an alliance, a bond, and they go on this journey together, and they find their way home. And in the end, they're both better off for it. Shooting the movie on this scale is breathtaking. Every day I show up and I'm blown away at the things that we're able to accomplish. And it's been a great combination of both technology and real world. This film, we couldn't have done this film without technology, and we couldn't have done this film without being out here in the real elements. So I feel it's a combination of the culmination of what we do as movie makers. We have visual effects where you won't know they're there, and we have real things that you might look at and say, well, that's a visual effect. And I think it's a great melding of both the technology and the real world. And that's what I find so amazing about it. And 43 days into movie making, I'm blown away every day, whether it's by a location or it's by a little detail that the prop guys have come up with or the hair people have done or the language. I'm constantly amazed at the things that we're able to accomplish. It's really amazing when you can make a film that is both exciting, entertaining, but also makes you think a little bit. It makes you think about where you come from, who you are, that we're all connected, that it's one world, our impact on the world. And without being preachy, it's a piece of entertainment, but there are things underneath it that I think people will take away from it.
The test specifically was a shot of a wolf that I got off the internet. And they'd seen it before, and the greatest words are, so is this, what are you showing us? And I go, this is a full CG wolf, full CG environment. What do you think? And they go, no, that's the YouTube clip. And I go, no, it's not the YouTube clip. The time travel shot where we show how far the tribe has traveled. So we start with an eagle flying over their heads, and we see the whole tribe. And you travel for 4 nights and 5 days and end up in a cave, and they're all there in the cave. Didn't think we were going to be able to pull that off because of the way shadows and things had to move. It took 8 months to do that shot. Except for the action sequences, I would guess the average length of a cut in this movie is somewhere between 5 and 10 seconds. And what that means, especially with no camera movement, is it means that the story is told by the actors. And, Kodi's a great actor. Chuck's a great actor. Jojo, Johansson, we call him Jojo. He's an amazing actor too. And they did their job. And what that allowed to do is us to fill out these backgrounds in the most stupendous, beautiful, artistic manner, so that I'm not a huge fan of stereo movies, 3D films. But when we saw this film in 3D, Marcus, the 3D soup, did the most amazing job ever. And when I was saying to him, well, why is this jump up 30 notches? He goes, the camera's not moving. The audience has time, so we could really add depth to this, and the eye has places to roam, and the focus is there, and so on and so forth. So you got to see it in a movie theater if you're a story fan, or if you are just out for visual beauty, or if you're an animal lover. And if you're going to see it at theater, and I rarely would say this, you got to see it in IMAX 3D, because it is an experience incomparable to any that has come before.
My number one priority in life is being a dad and being a father, and that's the context. Tao's role within the context of the script is being a father. He's teaching his son how to survive in the world, and sort of passing on his knowledge and wisdom, everything he can, so that his son can survive. So when you boil it down, peel back the layers, he's a dad. That's what he is. And that's how I look at myself. So there's a common thread there that I found. When you're in a studio or a backlot, it's all very controlled, and you get to do exactly what you want to do. But sometimes when you're in nature and on location, you get to also face challenges, and sometimes when you don't get to do what you want to do, you get something better. And also, and just the fact of seeing this place, I probably never would have come here in my lifetime had I not had to come here as while shooting this film. So that's all very interesting and great to get to see all these wonderful places. Ultimately, he sort of forms this relationship with one of the wolves, and they become friends, and it's a very beautiful and a lovely story how that happens, and they really form a real bond, and in a way the wolf helps him on his journey. It's an unusual setting, and it has twists that are unexpected as you read it, and it's thrilling and it's exciting, and it has a lot of heart. That's what really stuck out to me and really grabbed me, that it has heart, and it has to do with relationships, not only between father and son, but also just between humans. And I think we all share that relationship with each other in some way or another, and on some level or another.
The first time I read through it, it's an easy read, and it's a very attractive read. It pulls you in, and it's a perfectly flowing journey, and you're always wondering what's going to happen next, with hopes of obviously getting to that destination. But then you go through it again and again, and there's just so many aspects that it can trickle off into, and we also found that out in the kind of harsh way of realizing that a lot of the scenes that read simple in the physical conditions are extremely hard to do. Not so much from my side of it, but from directors and creating the environments and all the animals. This has been probably the most intense one physically. Maybe because obviously I've been in it every single day and come right off of another one, but I actually, that was a huge part of what attracted me to the story, because a lot of the things I've been doing, they're very modern tales, and I've been waiting for something that's ritualistic, you know, to do with Earth and Mother Nature, and it's been hard though. It's been an equal challenge. This has been the most impressive thing to me, the dinosaur park, and I've just seen nature that I've never seen before in my life. I think it's going to really shock the audience, because it looks like it's man-made, but then we do these big wides with drones and things like that, and you see, oh, this is real landscape, and it looks like dinosaurs. Dinosaurs should be walking around here. I started doing this training with Chuck, and it's really cute to see his little tendencies and aspects that he does are exactly the same as my little dog. So yeah, I've connected to him in the same way, and it can be hard on set. It's like a whole switch of environment and thinking space when we have to work with him. You know, you have to be extremely respectful of his space and how quiet you have to be to get out of him what you need. But we kind of got the gist of it towards the end, as fast as you can do it. But he's a very peaceful creature.
I also was able to meet the people from England that were consulting on this, the historic people, and pick on them and ask them about all the stuff that you see in the background. It's all accurate. It's like all 100, like 90. They're like, I was like, how real is it what we're doing? 'Cause I was like, really, how real is this? Because it looks pretty cool. It's like, no, it's 95% real. Like, there's very little, you know, creation in this. It's historically accurate. Everything I did, from the wardrobe that I wore to the locations that we were at, or to the sets we were in, brought you into this world in a very grounding way. And the language is just like this PhD, Christian Schreier, very smart, created this entire language for us to know. And joking around with my castmates, you know, I was like, oh, see if you can understand what I'm saying. And I would mostly challenge Jojo to see if he could understand. And he would pick it up and say, like, I know that word, and we could piece it together because it's a coherent language. Because we're these tiny specks in the entire world, and it makes you feel extremely humble and vulnerable to the elements, which is, I think, their condition. Mm-hmm. And again, that's another element that comes into play, where you just have to take it in and be in it, which is an actor's dream in a way. When I read the script, I was very, very taken by it immediately. I think I couldn't put it down, and I think I even cried. It just pulls at your heartstrings in a way that only these, you know, it's like an archetype of a story. The boy and his dog, a boy and his father and son relationship, and the love of a tribe.
If you get someone from Iceland and different parts of the world, you create a dynamic filming the movie where no one gets locked into a culture, no one gets locked into a behavior, because you're all pulling each other out from that, because you're all from these different nations, right? So I think that creatively works to get the feel of that time. I was guided a little bit by Johannes, because he gave me the scoop of how to learn the language and who to call, and you know, just he told me to feel free with trying to express my character through the language. So I guess that helped a lot.